Hi there. Today I'm going to talk about having a plan in place so that social media and outside opinions will not influence your creative journey or your artwork. And I have drawn a picture that I'm going to try to watercolor, and I'm sure it's beyond my skill level, but let me show it to you. So I'm going to work on this while we talk, and that way you'll have something better to look at than just sitting here looking at my face. What I was going to talk to you about this week is how outside opinions can have an effect on you and your artwork, your creative journey. It can affect your feelings about your artwork. It can affect your emotions that are connected to your artwork. It can also affect your judgment about your artwork. And it can even change what you decided to create or what you decide to create. So you have to have a plan in place before you ever start showing your art or posting your art, so you can handle these things in a manner that's going to work for you. And when I was coming out making art, there was no social media. So anything I showed would be to someone who was a family member or a friend, even acquaintances. You had to really go out of your way to show your art to a stranger. And my art was not mainstream. I knew that because, and it sounds tame now, but I drew a lot of things that were skulls, dragons, mermaids, and they were all done in black and white, generally with a pen, a ballpoint pen, because art supplies were not easy to come by, and a number 2 pencil just was not dark enough. So unless you went to a big store, in a big town, you would not find an art supply store around back then. And I lived in the South, which was another thing, and religion is a big thing here. So these dark arts would mostly be construed as either something to do with the occult, something like that. So I learned long ago not to show my artwork to people unless I wanted those type of opinions or sideways glances. So that had long ago been, put to stop to, because I just didn't show people my art. Well, one year I decided to make some acrylic paintings for gifts for my family members. And they were things that they would have wanted in their home, because I had seen a lady on PBS and she was doing acrylic paintings. Her name was Brenda Harris. And they were things that, like I said, my family would have wanted in their home. There were old abandoned farmhouses, an old abandoned church, such as that. And they all had early American homes, so these would fit right in. Well, I made these paintings, and I was just so pleased with how they turned out. I was just over the moon. And I showed one of them to a person. It was not somebody I made the painting for. And what they're mainly, what they actually said, I don't remember the exact words, but what it meant was, well, the paintings were good, but it's not my art. It was someone else's idea. I made it from a tutorial. So still, they did not approve of my art, me being an artist or working on creative things. And I'll tell you who it was, just so you'll know why I would have even cared. I was raised by my grandparents, and I felt really close to them like you would a parent, but I also saw my mother and father on occasion. And it was my dad who had said that to me. And I was just crestfallen. He just took the wind right out of my sails. I began to question, whether it was a good idea to give them as gifts. Were the paintings really any good? It was done from a tutorial, so, perhaps I shouldn't give those away. And when I thought about it, I really took some time to think about that, because like I said, it really just blew me over. And I realized that he had not taken anything away from me. Excuse me. He had not taken anything away from me. I had given him that power. I had given away, or had given someone more power over my feelings and my judgment than what I had myself. And that got me to thinking, I do not like to be told what to do. I don't like thinking someone has more power over me than I have myself. And I'm sure most of you don't either. So I began to rethink all this and make a plan for myself so that if I encountered this again, this would not happen. And I've noticed today with social media that there's a lot of that going on. And I see people putting either, posting something or putting something here on YouTube about how negative comments or just getting crickets, something like that, has definitely changed how they feel about their own art and their own creative journey. And I want to just take Instagram for example. When you post something on Instagram, you may just get crickets. It's like you're in the desert by yourself. And it's not necessarily because someone doesn't like your art or people don't like your art in general. It could be, because nobody has seen your art. And I've noticed on my own Instagram feed, I follow quite a few artists, but I only look at Instagram a couple of times a week. And when I do look at it, there may be only just 3 or 4 posts that are actually from people that I follow, or artists that I follow, and the rest of it is artists I've either never heard of or advertisements. So the reason your art may not be getting any response could well be because nobody is seeing your art. And if you get a negative comment, well, I've already got a thought for that for myself. I haven't gotten any negative comments, but if I do, I will immediately delete that comment and block that person, because that's not the person I was trying to show my artwork to anyway. And their opinion has no power over me. It carries no weight as far as I'm concerned. And even if you post something and you just get an overwhelming response of approval in likes or comments, and you just feel wonderful about the whole thing, you have to be careful there, because even if you feel great about this particular one where everyone likes what you've done, you get a lot of positive feedback on that. If you post something and suddenly you don't get that feedback, well, there you are. It could take that all away from you. So you don't want to let positive comments and approval carry too much weight either. I mean, I have seen people who've talked about even it affects how much or what kind of art that they're producing, because now that they've produced something that got such an overwhelmingly approval, that they feel like, well, maybe I should do more of that kind of art. And that definitely affects your creative journey. It may not be where you want it to go at all, but now you have this feeling of getting those positive comments and letting them have such an effect on you that you have reconsidered what you're going to create. So you have to be careful there as well. And if you have all of this laid out in your mind before you start off, then better for you, because social media will not be able to take and bring you down or send you over the top. And anytime I'm going to post something, any artwork, even these YouTube videos, I've already taken the time to look at my artwork, to evaluate if it's the way I envisioned it. Am I happy with my artwork? Are my skills up where I wanted them to be? I have made all of these decisions myself about the artwork I'm going to post, so no matter what kind of a response I get, it's not going to really matter, because my art journey, my creative journey is for me. I'm not doing anything for other people's approval. Now that would be different if you were trying to sell art, but I'm talking about someone who's just on their own creative journey. They're doing their artwork mainly for their own enjoyment. So I don't worry about that, no matter what kind of a response I get. The only one that, like I say, that would get my attention would be an ugly comment, or I would take and delete that immediately, and I would block that user, because I'm not having that kind of people being able to have a voice on my profile. And even with these YouTube videos, I've made all of these decisions before I made the first video. I have never made a video of any kind. I've certainly never edited one, but I thought that sounded really interesting. It was something I wanted to check out. I had planned in advance to never monetize these videos. So that gave me a really good starting place. If I don't get any views, well, I'm going to get 4 views because that's going to be me. I've got 4 different devices in the house, and I've already watched my video on those 4 devices to see how everything looks and make sure I'm ready to publish it. But for mainly, if I don't get any views other than those 4, if I don't get any comments or likes, it doesn't matter to me. That's not why I was making the videos to start with. So I'm happy with the videos I put out, and I see that I'm improving. It's not exactly what I envisioned, but I've already taken time to look at the video, make those decisions for myself. So no matter what I get as far as people looking at it or comments they might make, I already have a plan in place. Those people will not be able to affect me. Not in a way that's going to just make me feel like, well, maybe I shouldn't make any more videos, or my skills are just not good enough. My skills will get better, but I have taken an honest look at what I've created, and I know before I put it up there how I feel about it, so that other people's opinions cannot really affect me. I have made sure that my power is my power. I'm not giving it away to anybody. And you should consider these things for yourself, because there are so many people that seem like they have just have gotten so many negative effects from putting things out for the public or from social media, and it has really changed or put a damper on their creative time and their creative process. And you can stop that right away by just having the courage to identify whatever's going on in your artwork, good or bad. Have an honest look, make all these decisions for yourself, and keep the power over your feelings and your emotions for yourself. Do not give that to anybody. Do not allow anybody to have more power over you and your feelings and your creative journey than you have yourself. Now, I don't think that I'm such a great artist that nobody can tell me anything. But I have chosen those people very carefully on whose opinions I listen to. They know me, they know my art, so when they tell me something, it's to point out something I may not have noticed or something I may not have considered. I value their opinions, but that's not a bunch of random strangers out here on social media or YouTube. And I just wanted to bring this point up so that other people will think about this. And be sure that you have already set this bar for yourself so that nobody else can knock you off or really take the wind out of your sails like I had done. I'm going to go ahead and let this little time lapse run out, and then it shouldn't be but a few more minutes, and I'll come back with some final thoughts.
Like you're still around, but am I happy now? Am I happy now? Are you happy now? Pictures might last, but my frame just cracked. I'm going down. Had to light this up. Am I happy now?
Well, I hope I gave you some things to think about as far as having a plan so that outside influences can't have any harmful effects on your artwork or your art journey. And if you don't already have one for yourself, and if you do, or you have something to add to this, feel free to leave me a comment. I would love to hear about it. And I'll post that picture I was painting. I will post that on Instagram when I'm finished with it, though it may be a while. Even if it turns out terrible, I'll go ahead and post it so you can see how that turned out. And I think that's all for today. I'll leave you in peace with the hope that your creative light will continue to shine bright. Bye-bye for now.